Total War Warhammer 3's Prologue is arguably the best part of the game right now. It provides new players with a decent tutorial on how to play Total War, and provides the more experienced players with something different, a fresh experience in Total War, the likes of which we've never seen before. The Prologue starts you out on a very simple and linear path, of course teaching the basics of the game, but also introducing us to Yuri and Garrick and their struggles and their journey, and overall showing us what's setting up the main Chaos Realms campaign. Along the way, you'll face various different challenges from various different armies. You'll be taking settlements, fighting settlement battles, also fighting some quest battles along the way, and everything else you just expect from playing a Total War campaign. You take the settlements, you upgrade the settlements with different buildings, you manage your economy somewhat. As you move through, you'll have options and forks in the road of different ways to go and different results, eventually ending up in a more open area where you get a bit more freedom to go and attack wherever you like, turning this more into the free sandbox that we know and love in Total War. But what's really making the Prologue stand out is the constant story that's always being told to us. We hear Yuri and Garrick interacting all the time, you hear the voice of Urson, you hear their journeys and their struggles. You really get to learn about the characters even though it's only an hour or two's experience. Here's a few examples of the way the story is told to us.
By campfire light, I read the journal. Why did Kearns abandon his duty?
Do we have to fight these creatures? There must be another way.
No, Garrick. The lore we need is within that maze.
Then we pray to Urson for protection.
You will fight, and some may die, for the blood god demands blood, and we shall gladly give it. The Howling Citadel was mine. Much had been sacrificed.
So I think it's this kind of intimacy with the characters that we've never really had before. We've got the Warhammer fantasy universe, a world rich in lore and interesting personalities that we never really get to know in Total War Warhammer, outside of the random voice lines that you get to hear every now and again, the 5 cutscenes that you'll see in a campaign, and the tiny bit of written text you'll probably find on a loading screen. So we don't really get to know the characters. We don't get to understand their struggle or their goals. What is it exactly they're trying to achieve? Maybe there's a grander reason that Archaon is trying to wipe everyone out. So there's this sense that I kind of felt a bit more connected to the characters when playing the Prologue. So that's the first thing that really struck me. There's also a lot of opportunity for cool kind of set pieces. If you look at this piece of land on the campaign map, it actually reflects the battle map that you'll be fighting on. High cliffs surrounded by lava in the shape of the corn symbol. And when you get in there, that is what you get. High cliffs surrounded by lava in the shape of the corn symbol. It's a nice little touch that is maybe a little bit too much for a big campaign map. They can't do this all over a massive map. It would probably take too long. But in this little campaign, it works and we actually get a preview of where we're going to be fighting for once. Just a nice little touch that I appreciated. So, yes, I would love to see more of these story-driven campaigns, even if they're only 10 or 20 hours long. It's scalable from what the Prologue is, even though this is only an hour or two's journey. You can make it bigger and make it a bit longer, add in some extra challenges, face all different kinds of battles along the way, pretty much as you did in the Prologue. And I have no doubt that they could make that even better, as CA has shown when they go all in on the immersion and storytelling with this small campaign. It just works. But of course, this isn't the first time that CA has actually attempted these smaller, more intimate campaigns. In Warhammer 1, if you don't know, they did do these 2 mini campaigns for Beastmen and Wood Elves. And while these campaigns were okay, they had a nice cool intro cutscene, as you can see here, that looked great and set the scene well, but that was about as far as the storytelling really went. There was the occasional voice line throughout the campaign, but there wasn't too much in the way of constant storytelling like there was in the Prologue. And as such, these campaigns didn't go down very well with the community, so CA didn't bother making any more of them. But this may be due to CA not making the campaign mechanics as well as they do now. The campaign itself was just a small map that was zoomed in on some Empire lands, and you play across it in a fairly simple way. Like I say, these campaigns weren't fantastic, but the Prologue has shown that CA has come a long way with this kind of thing, and it really amplifies their strength. They've got the great motion art now, which is how they usually tell their stories. They've got fantastic voice work, fantastic audio in general. And one thing that seems to be omitted from the game nowadays is their fantastic CGI work. Go and watch any of the recent trailers. They're all great. CA are really damn good at making cinematic CGI scenes. Why the hell is none of it in the game? Why do we only get to see it when they want to promote something? This is one of their biggest strengths. Put it in the damn game and use it for storytelling like you did in Warhammer 1, goddammit. Imagine this scene here, Cathay being besieged by Tzeentch. You could use this as a pre-battle cinematic to set up a big quest battle. Add a bit more dialogue and interaction between characters. Let us know who they are. Are they scared? Are they determined? What are they thinking? What are they planning? Just feels like there's so much potential here in the CGI work of CA that, as I say, we rarely get to see. So a combination of this with all the other storytelling tools that they use in the prologue, you could really have something special in terms of a narrative-driven, story-driven, almost RPG-like campaign. And don't get me wrong, I do like the motion art storytelling that they do in Warhammer 3, where it's just some artwork that's moving around a bit with voices over the top. That's cool, I like that. Keep that going, but add in some CGI as well, because you do that damn well, CA. And I think this could be the way that Total War steps up and takes itself to the next level a little bit more. And I'm sure there's various other things you can do. Three Kingdoms had some nice little additions that I think help with the storytelling, seeing your character's face more often, seeing their full body, seeing them interact with other characters. Even if it's only still images, it still adds something, I think, to be able to see more of the person that they are. Whereas in Warhammer 3, all we get is this tiny little unit card and this tiny little 3D portrait, which is all, 3D's cool and all, but it's still tiny. And even on the diplomacy screen, it's tiny. We do now get the nice 3D model. When you click on a character, you can look at them a bit closer, which is cool. That's a nice step forward. Why not put that 3D model on the diplomacy screen? Much like Humankind or something. Maybe even make their mouth move properly with the words that they're saying. I'm sure this is a lot of work, but just an idea that would maybe make us a little more invested and immersed in the character. So to me, there's just a whole lot of potential there for CA to make these story-driven campaigns. They've proved that they can do it well with the prologue, I think, so I'd love to see them attempt it more in the future. And who knows, maybe they are going to, maybe they've already planned it. There's lots of characters that would benefit from this kind of campaign greatly. Be'lakor being the obvious choice for Warhammer 3. Lots of other big characters that people would like to see in this kind of campaign, I'm sure. Nagash, Neferata, Thanquol, Gotrek and Felix could be a good candidate. The possibilities are endless. Of course, though, this idea of small mini-campaigns isn't without potential problems, the biggest one being replayability. While I personally really enjoyed the prologue, I don't really have any desire to play it again, so would you want to spend 5, 10, 15 pounds, euros or dollars on something that may just be a 10 or 20 hour experience? Well, they could add some replayability by making it more sandbox, because that is what people love about Total War. You could perhaps have it so that once you've completed the campaign once, you then unlock a bunch of options to change how the game plays. You see this in other strategy games, like Stellaris here. You get all the options you can turn on or off, you can boost them up or tone them down, and tailor the game to how you'd like to play it. And hell, they've already kind of done this with the laboratory in Warhammer 2 that admittedly nobody probably played for more than 5 minutes, but that's because it had nowhere to be applied. And in a little campaign is where this thing could maybe really come to life. We see it a little bit in Warhammer 2 when you're able to turn off the Chaos Invasion or scale up the Chaos Invasion. Add more of that kind of thing. As I say, there just seems to be so much potential here for Total War to do something fresh and different from what it's always done. Because they seem to keep misstepping with their main campaigns in Total War Warhammer now. Warhammer 2 had the timed event campaign of the Vortex, and Warhammer 3 has the timed event campaign of the Chaos Realms, neither of which people really liked. The majority of people didn't like the Vortex campaign that much. They didn't like being on a timer and having to rush. So why the hell we got that same experience in Warhammer 3 with the Chaos Realms is beyond me. But hopefully CA will learn their lesson and stop giving us these kind of campaigns, and maybe we'll start instead pushing the boat out a little further and trying these prologue type campaigns that are heavily story driven. Even if every legendary lord has their own little one, that would have been a better experience, I think, than what the Chaos Realms provided us. Although, don't get me wrong, it's not that the Chaos Realms is terrible, it's great one time through. After that, you kind of can't be arsed with the realms again, right? So it's mostly just a lack of freedom that is the downfall of the Chaos Realms, but people love Mortal Empires. Warhammer 2 Mortal Empires is the preferred mode, and I'm sure it's going to be the same in Warhammer 3 when it arrives. So that should always be in the game for the foreseeable future. But I think these story-driven campaigns could be a nice addition, something different alongside that. That's just my thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. See you in the future.